I'm Joanna Weiss, and I thought Gisele was right to stand by her man.
I'm Dan Wasserman. I heard Gisele's remarks, and I thought, ugh, as in U-G-H.
Gisele was not speaking at a press conference. She was not speaking to a reporter. She was talking to her entourage after the game in the heat of the emotion, and she was defending her husband.
Well, she was surrounded by people with cameras. She got provoked by somebody who told her that Eli owned Tom. But it's bad form. This is the kind of behavior that might work okay in the fashion world, but this is a team sport. Tom Brady's going to rely on those receivers for a long time. Wes Welker stood up and took responsibility for it, and kicking him and the other receivers in the shins, I just think is really bad form.
But it's not Gisele's fault that iPhones have really good microphones and they're really good audio devices, and they could really hear what she was saying, because what she was doing was just that, you know, that knee-jerk defense of your spouse that you would always have. You know, you want your spouse to rush to your defense and to take your side in the heat of the moment right afterwards. Maybe a few days later, you know, sit back and discuss it and say, well, you know, you could have thrown a little bit to the right, honey. But right after the game, in that heat of passion, when Tom's at his lowest point, I think he'd want his wife to just to be all for him. Well,
I'm not sure this is helping Tom, frankly. I mean, he came out very quickly afterwards and said kind things about Welker in particular, and I find it hard to believe that Gisele is somehow unfamiliar with how cameras and microphones work. I mean, she makes her living, you know, surrounded by them and playing up to them. So I think she's got to have a little more poise and a little more class than this. I thought this was a cheap shot.
If there's one moment where you don't have poise, I think it's the moment of the aching loss. And you know, it's to Tom's credit that he was able to sort of step back and take the high road and defend. But I'll bet you Wes Welker and Gisele will make up pretty soon too.
You think Valentine's is going to be okay in the Brady household?
I think they can afford to send each other dozens and dozens of roses.